Hi, my name's Robin, and I am here to provide a understanding of mental health disorders and living with mental health disorders, and some of the theories of why people have mental health disorders. But first, for now, I just wanted to address some general, overall, from talking to friends and talking to people who have mental health disorders. It's really complex and it's challenging, when you have a experience. You have ranging emotions, thoughts, behaviors that impacts their life and can have an overall impact in your overall life. And there are some common feelings, in my opinion, that are felt amongst peers who have a mental health disorder have experienced. So that's what I want to talk about first. We share stigma and shame. I think that if you survey people with mental health disorders, they'll tell you that if they tell people openly that they have this particular mental health disorder, that they would be treated as if they had just disclosed that they had diabetes and they needed to take shots. But when you tell someone that you imagine them taking a shot, but when you tell someone that you have a mental health disorder, they imagine your brain malfunctioning. And so anyway, that's my take on the definitions. But anyway, so the stigma is pretty bad, and it's so bad that you hide it. And if you don't, you do. If you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. But there's a point in every relationship you make that you have to disclose whether or not you're going to tell them you're bipolar, or you're going to tell them you're schizophrenic, or you're going to tell them, I disappear for months at a time. That doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you. That means I'm not in the headspace to talk to you because I'm dealing with my mental health, my mental health. And so also there's isolation. You can find it really difficult to connect with other people because you've lived a life with a mental health disorder, and you see things from a different perspective. And when you make friends, the perspective becomes apparent to you. And again, you don't want to get too close because you'd have to tell them the truth. And it's like the truth is damning because of the stigma. So anyway, anxiety and fear, anxious as part of their illness, or fear as part of their illness. Anxiety, puts you in a constant state of worry about stuff that there's nothing you can do about. And imagine that, all these things are going to go wrong. And so you're going to worry about all the things that could possibly go wrong instead of thinking about what's going to go right. You're stuck in wrong. Confusion and disorientation, making decisions or concentrating on doing stuff, and even dissociating in a way by not knowing what day it is. You can guess at what time, what month it is. That could be a really good question. Do you know what day it is? So anyway, guilt and self-blame. You feel guilty for having a mental health disorder. when you're diabetic, you feel guilty for being a diabetic because you know if you ate the right foods, you wouldn't have to be a diabetic. I know this because my friend JT of 35 years was diabetic. He could have stopped it if he would have stayed off his feet. But he insisted on standing and cooking and taking care of his kids, that his foot got chopped off. Then his other foot got chopped off. He was diabetic. And so he was drinking sake and baking carbohydrates left and right, putting on weight. But, complaining about these diabetic problems. So anyway, but if you tell someone you have a mental health disorder, they don't just think you take insulin. They think you have brain stems hanging out your head and you're crazy. So, and lastly, physical symptoms. Feel exhausted, You try to communicate with people, and it's exhausting to feel like you get them to fully understand what you said. And sleep problems, getting up too early, or wanting to stay awake late and be by yourself in the middle of the night. Not be by yourself, but be up in the middle of your night by yourself. But safe, because my husband is sleeping in bed and I'm safe, and I feel inspired at 9:30 at night. So, that is the first part of what I want to talk about. And the next thing I want to talk about, it involves a whole nother matter as far as mental health disorders goes. So I am going to start a support group online for people who have mental health disorders, and I invite anybody to join, and I hope this reaches the right audience. Thanks, bye.